Hawkinsville High School held its annual Teen Maze to show students the impact and possible consequences of the decisions they make related to drugs, alcohol, and sexual behavior. The students witnessed a staged automobile accident with real wrecked cars and the actual local emergency authorities to show how real the consequences can be if they choose to drink and drive.
We are on the scene right now of a major accident. Reports at this time are sketchy, but let me tell you what we do know. Two teens were traveling at a very high speed of rate, returning from an evening of partying at the river. What happened next is a tragedy and every parent's nightmare.
1050. One ejected, roll me EMS.
The Sheriff's Department is the first on the scene, and they will assess the situation. They will notify the fire department of entrapment. So the fire department will come with the jaws of life. It appears that the teens ran off the road, and in an effort to correct it, the driver overcompensated and the vehicle flipped several times. The victims are unresponsive at this time. The EMS has just pulled up. The fire department's trying to get the driver out of the car. He's in and out of consciousness. The passenger who was thrown from the vehicle is still unresponsive at this time. I noticed several empty beer cans laying around. Apparently this was a drinking-related accident. They're still trying to get the driver out, but the passenger has been pronounced dead. You'll notice they're putting him in a body bag now. The passenger's mother has now arrived. She struggles to catch a last glimpse of her child. The driver, who is still alive, may very well be charged in this incident. What should have been the happiest time of these young lives has now gone horribly wrong. introduce y'all to somebody. This is Alan Sr. He's from Perry. Not long ago, this was his reality. And I'm going to let him tell you just very briefly about that. This was very real for him.
I hear a lot of laughs here and all that. When I was 18, it wasn't no big deal to me either. Never in my life thought I'd go to prison. Never in my life thought anything would happen to me. But it was just down the road there, Sylvania Road here in Hawkinsville. I'm pretty sure y'all have heard of it. I got in a wreck after leaving the Elko mud bog and flipped my truck, my Jack Just Tahoe. And if I ain't gonna lie to you, the only thing different was the mother didn't show up. My father showed up, and I didn't recognize him. I didn't know who he was. Asked me who he was 3 times. I was so drunk. Same as that car wreck, the way the car flipped and everything. He was ejected from the vehicle and he died right there in front of me. I did 8 years in prison behind that. I understand we're laughing. This is a good time. This is a good thing, but this is very real. Y'all have no idea. Y'all think y'all know something. Y'all have no idea what y'all are witnessing right here. This is real life. You can happen to any one of y'all any second, any time of the day. You ain't got to be in the car. Somebody could hit you and it's over with. I just want y'all to take hold of this, because this is real life right here. In 8 years of your life, I had everything in front of me, had no plans, didn't even think I was going to prison, no thought about prison in my life. 8 years. 8 years gone, my best friend died. Y'all just look and see, because this is exactly how it happens. There's a lot more blood and a lot more tears, though.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Larry Bryan. I'm Assistant Chief, Pulaski County Fire Department. What I want to do real quick is introduce you to the first responders that respond to these kind of accidents. We got the Pulaski County Sheriff's deputies out of the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office. They're usually the very first ones on the scene. They assess and call for additional help if needed. You also got EMS, qualified paramedics, with Tyler Regional Hospital. They're usually right there, right behind the Sheriff's Department. They provide medical care to you. All that accidents and injuries. Then you have volunteers and full-time firefighters that respond to the scene when it's a lot more complicated. They need the jaws of life and such as that. These people right here have seen what you think is a simulation out here. We didn't set this up just for you to look at. These guys and ladies have actually arrived on the scene to find tragic loss of life because of somebody's mistake or somebody's bad decision. They have seen it. I noticed in here too, when the distressed mother come up, I've seen a few of you snickering, laughing, talking to your buddy. They're laughing about it. Think of this. That's your mother. You're sitting here. That happens to be your brother or sister laying out there. I don't think you'd be laughing at that time. And this is serious. This is something where you make your decisions at.
I want you to keep in mind, I do not want this to happen to you. I do not want to be the one that's going to knock on the door to your mother or whomever and tell them that you are not here anymore. Please use your common sense. All of y'all are pre-adults. You know better. If you get yourself in a situation you can't get out of, call me. Call any of them. Call somebody. I will come and get you. There will be any questions asked. Your safety is my #1 and their #1 priority. All of you are very important to us. All of you. Please, use your head. Don't drink, don't drive, don't text, don't speed. Pull over. Okay? Please. This is my plea to you. Please don't do that.
EMS. As Perrin and David both have alluded to, we see this very much too often. Young folks getting out drinking, driving, having accidents, not paying attention to what's going on the road. Excuse me, having an accident. We got one young man who's lost his life at a young age. Has a bright future in front of him. Got another young man. He's still here, but his life is ruined for several years, if not for the rest of his life. He's got to remember what he did that killed his friend in an accident for the rest of his life. Just gentleman right here just told y'all that. Make good decisions. Don't drink and drive. Be safe out there. And the firefighters. Again, just also, I want to thank our victims, Shamar and Curtis. They portrayed our victims here. But keep this in mind as the last thought when you leave here. Shamar was the victim and was deceased. Curtis was the driver of the vehicle. He recovered from his injuries. He was transported to the hospital and recovered. But from now on, for the rest of his life, he will have to think that he was the man responsible because of the death of one of his best friends, and he'll have to live for that from age 17 for the rest of his life. Thank y'all very much.
The students can also see what it is like to go to court for various driving offenses, and how much their lives can be easily impacted by the outcome.
Violation, shoplifting, and consumption of alcohol by a person under age 21, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Inform how do your clients plead?
Your Honor, my clients plead guilty to the charges, but they're asking for leniency here. Both of these individuals are upstanding citizens in the community, Your Honor. They have really good grades in school. They do not have any prior criminal history. This was just a mistake. They were out together with some other friends, and one thing led to another, and before you know it, this happened. And both of them are sorry, they're remorseful for what happened, and they're going to ask that the court show leniency and give them the opportunity to demonstrate to the court and the community that they won't engage in this type of behavior again.
Ms. Meyer, what was the value of the items that were shoplifted?
$10 for each 6-pack that was stolen. There were two. $20. And the state asks that you make an example of these two defendants because they're exactly what we want to not encourage our young people to do.
Any prior offenses?
No.
Noel and Justin, I find that you've entered a plea of guilty on the charges of curfew violation, shoplifting, and consumption of alcohol by a person under age 21. So I will enter a guilty plea and find you guilty of those 3 charges. I'm going to impose fines of $200 for each of you, plus restitution in the amount of $20. Consumption of alcohol is a very serious offense in our society, and I would agree with the prosecutor that I think we need to sometimes send a message to the other students at your high school that that's something that should not be tolerated. So for that reason, I'm going to impose a jail sentence of 24 hours, which will be served on the weekend at your convenience within the next 2 weeks. I'll further find that if you have no further criminal charges found against you in the next 12 months, that these charges will be removed from your record. So that will be the order of the court. The probation officer, they've been sentenced to 24 hours. Can you please take
24 hours in jail.
Oh, these niggas funny. These two right here want to jump. Okay.
So that's .02 or higher. That's a DUI per se. Per se means that there's no circumstantial needed. There's no facts needed to support it. That means you are guilty because your blood alcohol was .02 or more. That's one beer, maybe for some of you. One beer can cause you to have $5,000–$10,000 in fines and fees by the time you're done, plus jail time, plus the next 3-4 years of not having a license.
And if you get sentenced to jail time, you might not get to only serve that on the weekends. So you might have to miss school or miss your job, and you could get let go from your job because you might have to serve 6 weeks in jail.
And they put you in general population. In Houston County, the local, like the police departments, they have little holding tanks. But if you're sentenced to jail, you're going to go to the jail at the Houston County Sheriff's Department. You're going to go in general population. They have anywhere from 400 to 500, and sometimes up to 600 people serving, waiting trial for murder, waiting trial for rape, armed robbery, aggravated assault. So you're going to be put in the same holding cells as people like that. Those are the people that you would associate with just because you got a DUI.
And your DUI stays on your record.
It does. It never comes off. Never.
We didn't really talk about this in here, but I just want to mention possession of marijuana, possession of alcohol. If you're pulled over in a vehicle with other people and there's marijuana in the car and there's alcohol in the car, there's a good chance that everybody in the vehicle is going to be charged. So be careful about who you associate with. Be careful about who you ride around with. Be careful about where you're found, so that you don't get it put in the situation to have to justify that you're not involved. That was not your marijuana. That was not your alcohol. That was in the vehicle.
Yeah, if they find, if my officers in Perry, if they pull you over, and if there are 3 people in the car and they find marijuana in the glove box or somewhere sitting in the car, and they ask the driver, is this yours? And he says no, all 3 of you are going to jail. Until it can get sorted out, they're going to seize you, they're going to charge all 3 of you.
And your friends aren't going to take the hit for you.
Find out who your friends are.
Students also go through the maze itself, where they draw different decisions out of a hat or box to see what the results of those decisions are, be it choices related to sexual behavior, substance abuse, or staying in school.
It's finally going to happen. This is like hard because that person might want to have sex with you tonight. Now, is that a choice you'd want to make? If you want to graduate from high school on time and have a good career? Probably not.
Nope.
But today, this is a game. This is not real. So you don't get to make the choice. The choice is going to be made for you. So on your roadmap, open up to the first square. We're going to ask you to draw a yes or no out of this bag, and Reggie's going to stick it on your map. And then this is the part where you have to go different directions. If you have yes, go to the drugstore. The drugstore is right back here. If you have no, abstinence and peer pressure, you're going to follow over here to abstinence and peer pressure. And each individual instruction you have will tell you where to go next. So your path will be different than any other student. So all that sounds like a lot of instructions, but the truth is this is a lot of fun. So just go with it and be a good sport, and we appreciate you.
The maze goal is to graduate high school, which many do. Some with difficulty and some with flying colors.
Great, Victor. 1, 2, 3.
But others do not make it at all.
Alright, come over here, Madison. And you have to look inside the mirror, and if you'll try to look at it as I dearly beloved, we have gathered here to celebrate the life of Madison. She died way too young. She was only 18 years old. Her mother, Maria, and her sisters dearly, dearly miss her. She wanted to grow up and go skydiving, and nurse, go to school, and even visit Paris. She wanted to be able to supply all of her needs, not relying on anyone. She wanted to show the love to herself and to others. And the sunshine that she showed to others is what everybody's going to miss. We ask you to pray for her family and her loved ones as they grieve her loss.
It really hit home for some students to see what could happen if they go down the wrong path. I followed the path of one student through the maze.
All right, Amani, would you mind telling us what your path ended up being? Where all did you go and what happened?
Well, I went to the accident, peer pressure, and no. Then I had to go on a date. Then go to the drugstore and birth control pills. And then I got to graduate.
So it felt good to graduate, huh?
Yes.
After some in and outs, she finally makes it to her final goal, to graduation. Others were not so lucky. Some were overwhelmed with the burdens of parenthood, STDs, and financial burdens. But for the students who got through the mock graduation, they felt good, genuinely proud and excited, even though it wasn't really their graduation. But it reminded them of their real-life goal and how excited they are for the bright future that a graduation brings.
Well, if you had to send a message to other students, about good decisions leading to graduation, what would you say?
Don't get caught up in the wrong path. Don't listen to what others say. Just go on the right path, and don't hang